Hello everyone, this is Mr. Drame. Today I'll be talking about section number 3, which is purchasing a new vehicle. As you know, in the previous section, section 9.1, um, we talk about sticker price, and section 9.2 we talk about dealer costs, and today we're going to be talking about purchasing a new vehicle. Yeah, so this is just like a vocabulary and questionnaires. So if you have the paper question for the vocabulary, I'm not gonna write all the questions because it's longer, but I need you to answer each one of them by listening to this video. And also, if you can come up with your own answers, that's fine. That would be extra credit. If you list one of these answers that I did not mention, that's extra credit. And if you look online to find those answers as well, that would be extra credit. All right, so with that being said, purchasing a new vehicle. I'm gonna read the first question for the vocabulary. Okay, what are the factors that people look for when they value a used car? Okay, what do people value when they are? What do they look for? What are the factors they look for when they are trying to price a used car? Like I see a car outside that's used, and I'm trying to give it a certain price. What do I go for? Now, there are many things you can go for, but most of the things that people go for, and you might already know, is number one. What you're going to be going for is the year, right? The year it was, is it 5 years old? Is it 10 years old? Now, any car more than 10 years old is. Now, people go by, they also say they go by mileage, right? Okay, mileage. Mileage is a big factor, right? So if somebody's driving, normally people say 15,000 a year is a good mileage to keep for the year. But if you go more than 20,000 per year, people say you are overdriving the engine. You know, now but like I said, there's something in between, right? Because if I said the car is 10 years old, right? 2020, 2010, and then but there's only like 30,000 miles. So the car is 10 years old, but it's been driven less. Would you look at the year or would you look at the mileage? And another good question would be, let's say the car is 2 years old, but it has 100,000 miles. So let's say the person is driving between states. The car was bought in 2018, but it has 100,000 miles. How much would you pay for that car? So the year is very recent. The engine has been overdriven. So, like I said, that's between those. So many people just use between. I gotta keep my laptop. All right. The next thing that people look for when they value a car, they look for the brand, right? Uh, the brand is very important, right? People say Toyota, Honda are good brands. Again, like I said, it depends on the person. So some people value Chevy, some people value Ford. I personally like Japanese car. I like Toyota and Honda. That's normally what I normally buy. But everybody, brand is another factor. What else? Maintenance records, right? If somebody keeps the maintenance maintenance records, right? What do I mean by maintenance records, right? You're talking about oil change, tire rotation, you're talking about oil change, tire rotation, brakes, you know, and all the regular dealerships, right? If somebody can show me that every month or every 6 months they have some maintenance done to the car and the car is in good standings, I'll be more willing to buy the car than somebody that's driving the whole year without changing the oil. There are people that do that. So, what else? I also want to know, is your car a personal car? I mean, you drive it to work and come back, or are you using it for business? Like, are you using it as an Uber? Are you using it for like or was it used like in enterprise, like like renting a car, right? So right, if car rentals, you don't, I don't know if you want to buy a car from a car rental because anybody can rent it. You don't know how they drive, how they accelerate, how they brakes, if they went over a hole and all that stuff. So you want to know, was it for personal use, personal or business, right? All right, those are the ones I have in my mind. You might have more more targets that you look for when you value a used car. This is just a few, but if you add more to this, you can have extra credit. Now the next question would be, what places can you find a used car? Number two, what places can you find a used car? You can find a used car anywhere. You can find it at dealership, so you can put dealership, right? What else? You can find it with an individual, right? I'll just put individual. It could be your friend, it could be your uncle, it could be your friend's friend, right? Where else can you find used car? You can find them at government auctions. Government auctions, right? What else can you find them? Government actions, and you can find them at repossess. I'm going to talk about repossess. What does repossess mean? Because it happened to me. You can find also goodwill auctions, goodwill or donation, right? Goodwill. If you don't know if it's goodwill, the goodwill is a donation, right? Donation auctions. All right, so let's talk about each one of these, right? Where can you find used car? You can find out a dealership, right? Any dealership you go to, it could be a new dealership, it could be a Toyota dealership, a Honda dealership, a Ford dealership, a Chevy dealership. You'll find used car, or there are also a lot of dealerships that only sell used cars. Like Dayton has plenty of them. I've never seen any city like Dayton where you have a dealership in almost everywhere. Now, individually, you can buy it from a friend, you can buy it from your uncle, you can buy it from a friend's friend, you can buy it from a lot of people. Government auction, right? Let's say somebody is doing something illegal and the government confiscate all their properties, their cars, their homes. It can go into an auction. So you go to those auctions, you call the government auction, the sheriff's auction. You can buy their car for cheap, or whatever the action dictate. Repossess. Okay, repossess just means the bank took their car back. Like this happened to me. Let's say you lose your job, you can't make the payments after 3 months or 6 months. The bank is like, okay, that's it. They send a tow truck and they take your car. And when they take your car, they give you 21 days, 2 weeks, whatever. And then they're gonna tell you, well, if you don't have the money now, what's gonna happen is we're gonna put your car into an auction. Now, that's gonna be repossessed. Now, it's very dangerous, right? So when your car is repossessed, don't think your life is. Don't think you're done with the bank. You're not done with the bank. So I'll give you an example. So if your car is repossessed, so this is what happens. Let's say you are making payments for 3 years, right? The car costs $20,000. You owe, let's say, 18,000, right? Oh, it doesn't really matter, right? You owe 18,000, right? You go into the auction, right? You go into the auction. Somebody paid the maximum, let's say 14,000, right? Right. So you still owe the bank. You're still gonna owe the bank how much? 4,000. Right. So you still owe the bank 4,000, and if you don't pay these 4,000, it's gonna be in a collection agency. But regardless, whenever your car is repossessed, it's already gonna be in your credit score. So that's what it means, repossess. So it's very important that when you get a car, make sure you can make the payments. And think about it, because this is the way I look at it, right? If I get a car, I gotta make sure, worst comes to worst, can I still make the payment? Can I find a $10 an hour job and still make the payment? Can I find a $15 an hour job, still make the payment? Just because you're making $20 an hour right now, think you can afford a Mercedes or a Lexus. But what if you lose that $20 an hour job and you end up with a $12 an hour, and you got to pay your rent, you got to pay all that? So think about it. Think about it. when you get a car, right? So repossess is very real. It happened to me. I didn't make consistent payment for 3 months, right, or 6 months. So they're like, oh, one day the tow truck came and took it, and then so. All right, the next one is Goodwill or donation. Oh, Goodwill. It takes clothes, shoes, books, and whatever, but they also take cars. So they have auctions for this too. So if you there's one on North Dixie in Dayton. So if you look online, also you can find these donation auctions. Now, like I said, a lot of these cars, there's people give them up. It could be a thing or two wrong. It could be perfectly fine. So you take a risk. Any auction or any used car, usually take a risk. All right, let's keep going. Now, question number 3: discuss advantages and disadvantages of buying a used car. All right, advantages. So let's talk about advantages of buying a used car. Well, you get it cheap, right? So that's number one. You don't have to pay no full price pay, right? No full price pay, right? You don't have to pay the full price of a new vehicle. Sometimes it can be in good condition, right? Sometimes you're lucky you have a good condition used car, and that's gonna be good for you, right? Just like when I was in college, the people used to buy books. Some people will spend $100 on a new book. Somebody will spend $10 on a used book, and it will be in good quality. All the pages are there, and you can get right. Same thing with cars. When you buy a used car, sometimes you can be lucky. So that means you save your money. It's less than full price, in good condition. Now the disadvantage is the disadvantage would be, right? People don't always disclose everything that's wrong in a car, right? You're never gonna know. You can say unknown condition, right? You never know, right? The car can drive fine for a month and then start breaking down. So that's why I give the advice: if you buying a used car, make sure you take a friend mechanic or somebody you know. You never know, right? He might be able to catch something, he might not. But like I said, you're taking a risk. Or if you buy a used car, buy it in places that can allow you to return it in 3 days. Like take it to your own mechanic or take it to a dealership and see if they find anything major. If they do, just return it. But now there are dealerships that will not allow that. But that's how it is. You take risk, right? So they let you drive it for a couple of miles and then return, and then you make a decision. That's usually how it works. So, question number 4: what is certified used car mean? All right, certified just means, right? When you go buy a car, you'll find that, and mostly in dealerships, certified mean it has passed a lot of inspection, a lot of tests. Car has passed a lot of tests, right? A lot of tests, right? So what they do is they're gonna check the engine, they're gonna check the brakes, they're gonna check, everything to make the car almost like new. So when a car is certified, if you get it from a good dealership, you can be assured that you're getting a good car. You shouldn't have any issue with it for 5 years. So certified is a good buy. All right, number 5. Differences between buying a used car. The difference between buying a used vehicle and a new one. I think we already talked about it, right? Used cars are more expensive, right? But also, it's more stability, right? So a new car, right? More expensive, right? But it has more security, right? I mean, in terms of more stability, right? More expensive, but it has more stability, right? Right. That means you're the first one that's driving it. Everything is working, the brakes, the lights, everything is good. If anything, you can always you have also you can turn it back to the dealership for them to fix it if you buy it new, and some dealership allows you to do that. uh, Now if you're buying a used car, the difference is it's an unknown condition, right? Most of the time you don't know because people are not going to be honest and tell you everything that's wrong because they think it's going to bring down the value of the car, or you might not buy it. So you can say unknown condition. Usually it's cheaper. All right, now the next one, the last one we're going to talk about is what is the difference between wholesale and retail. All right, what is the difference between wholesale and retail, right? Wholesale is the price for the dealers or anybody that's buying in bulk, right? Price for dealers. Okay. And then retail is the price you give to the consumer, to the customer. Price for customer. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna stand here on the side. So I hope everything is clear. Like I said, most of these words you have heard it before. Wholesale just means the price that you buy in bulk. So if you're buying 10 cars, you're gonna get it cheaper. And retail is just what you're giving it to the customer, and that's about it. And the main thing to remember is that you can always buy used car. If you buy used car less than 5 years, you should be getting a good deal. 2 years is very good. The only reason why I like used car is you don't have to pay full retail price. You don't have to pay the extra 5,000. Like if you buy used car, you can save 5 to 7,000 off the price and still get a good car that is drivable. Now sometimes people buy used car that you end up breaking down, calling the tow truck in the middle of the road. And I've been in those situations, and if that's what you're worried about, you should always get a new car. I like to say you cannot go wrong with new because you're the first one driving it and you know everything that's going in and out. Yeah. All right, until next video.